Hello YouTube, I'm Andrew Does Hair. You can find my work on Instagram at Andrew Does Hair. Today I want to take a crack at doing the 2001-ish Tom DeLonge haircut. If you saw the thumbnail, you know the one I'm talking about. I want to begin by taking a section of hair straight down the middle of the head and pulling it away from the face to cut my first guide. The reason I'm pulling it away from the face is it's going to leave more length at the front there. Now with this particular mannequin, I just worked with the length that I had up there, but you could go really as long as you want in the front. Sometimes this hair is very long in front, sometimes it's kind of long. I'm just working with what I had. So after I get that first section done, I want to take pivoting sections off of the first one, pulling them all away from the face as I cut them to, again, maintain that length up there. As I start working around the back, I can pull the hair just straight up, but anytime I'm working near the face, I want to shift that hair a little bit away from the face before I cut it. You can see that it kind of gives us, like, right away, that kind of emo bang shape. To cut the sides here, I want to take sections that roughly follow the parietal ridge. The parietal ridge is the widest part of your skull. It dips down to the back, and then again, it dips down in the front. And so my sections here on the side of the head are going to do the same thing. Working near the front, it's going to kind of tip down a little bit near the face, and it's going to do the same thing around the back. Now that first section there, I want to cut that with 0 elevation because it's going to give us a really nice, clean, hard perimeter. But with subsequent sections, I want to pull them out at 45 degrees and use the previous section as a guide. What this is going to do is give us increasingly longer hair as we work up the head near the top, or graduation as we call it in haircutting lingo. Now when I go to connect these emo bangs to the graduation on the sides, there's really no wrong answer here. Again, I'm working with the length that I have, but if you want, like, you can take this length to the nose, or you can take this length down to the chin. There's no wrong answer there. It is connected as far as at that corner where it connects to the side of the head, but it's disconnected in that, you know, the hair growing off the forehead doesn't have anything beneath it to connect to. So you can leave that as long as you'd like, depending on how emo you are. I'm going to continue around the back doing the same process I did on the side. Sections following the parietal ridge, first section 0 elevation, and then subsequent sections with 45 degrees of elevation. Now really quick here, I want to point out on this mannequin head, while the hair is still very long, there is a thin spot behind that right ear. I pointed that out now because later near the end of the haircut, I even was tripping. I thought, like, oh my gosh, did I go too short right there? It looks like there's an inconsistency in the cut near the end of the haircut, but it's actually just a thin spot there. And so I'm glad I actually saw it in this video while the hair was still long, because I was tripping. I was like, dude, I can't believe I messed this up. I didn't mess it up. The head was just messed up. Anyways, on the left side of the head, I'm going to do the same process that I did on the right side of the head. Follow the parietal ridge, 0 elevation at the bottom, 45 degree elevation, all the rest of the way up. So at this point, the rough draft is complete. Now I can dry the hair. And just like with every video that I do, the blow dry is really broken down into 3 steps. First, we rough dry. So high heat and high power, wiggle the hair around by hand, and just try to get everything dry. Once the hair is dry, it's going to be kind of fluffy and frizzy potentially. And so step number 2 is to polish the hair. We're going to use a brush to provide some tension there. We're going to use high heat and low power and just kind of pull the hair around to smooth it out, make it a little bit shinier. And then once the hair is pretty shiny, I want to go through and set the style. So I'm going to use a 9-row brush, and I'll go one small section at a time, heating the hair, followed by cold air to set it exactly where I want it. Your hair works just like a fabric. Wherever it cools, it stays. And so I want to set that style in with cold air right at the end. Now that the style's been set into place, I can go through and start refining and fine-tuning the haircut. And there behind the right ear, you can see that thin spot again. I like to do this detailing and sideburn work after the hair has been blow dried because this is like the least forgiving way to check your haircut. If I were to leave the hair wet or wavy, I can have a crooked haircut and not even know it. But if everything's blow dried really smooth and straight like this, then from a mile away, I can see every single imperfection. So as I come in here to refine, I want like the least forgiving way that I can check the hair. Throughout the front and the sides, I'm going to do a lot of slide cutting to remove weight from this fringe area. And then I'm going to go through and kind of break up a little bit of this weight line on the corner here with some deep point cutting. Now the goal is not to remove the weight. The weight's good. It makes the haircut shapely, but if it's too heavy, then, you know, it can look like a bowl. So I just want to texturize it a bit and kind of soften it up. So now I'm going to go through the perimeter with a texturizing scissor and just like I just said a second ago, soften it up. The blunt haircut that's done while the hair is wet is going to be very heavy and bowly. And so it's so important when you're cutting hair to go through and refine and texturize everything to get the softness that you want to get out of it. So for product, I probably didn't really need anything, but this particular head of hair was super rough. So I put in like a smoothing oil. I believe this one was by R&Co. I forget the exact kind of oil that it is, but there's our finished product. It's some version of loosely based on roughly Tom DeLonge haircut. Thanks for watching.